Hello, hockey fans, and welcome to NHL Draft Pros.
Shoots, he scores!
In this video, we're going to do a little mock draft from our friends at Tankathon. We're going to do a draft simulation and see who ends up with the first overall pick and what prospects land where in this simulation. So stick around and let's see how things end up. And if you want to see some highlight videos of these prospects, head over to NHL Draft Pros on YouTube or hit the icon below this video and that will bring you to our homepage. And if you're a hockey fan, please hit that subscribe and like button to help the channel grow. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, as of this recording, Calgary is in line for the first overall pick. Nashville 2, Vancouver 3. So I ran a mock simulation and check this out. Nashville jumped up one spot to get the first overall pick. And St. Louis jumped up a couple spots, and poor Calgary and Vancouver, they both end up dropping in the rankings. Okay, and so first overall, we got Gavin McKenna. Yep, he still stays the top prospect in the 2026 draft class. 18 points in 16 games in the NCAA. That's pretty decent for the young winger. And you know what? There's been a lot of flack that McKenna hasn't been living up to the hype. Now, last year, when he played in the WHL for Medicine Hat, he had 126 points in 56 games, like just incredible numbers, right? We're talking Connor Bedard territory. And so there was a lot of expectations for him this year going into his draft year. Now, he hasn't really been living up to that hype. Like I said, you know, we're thinking of numbers like Celebrini, Fantilli, you know, those kinds of numbers, and he's not just putting up those numbers just yet. However, he has started to turn around a little bit. This past weekend, he had 4 points in 2 games. So, you know what, starting to figure out, and I think that if he has a strong second half in the World Juniors, that he'll solidify his position at number 1. So Gavin McKenna to the Nashville Predators in this mock draft simulation. Number 2, we got Keaton Vierhoff, the big defenseman playing in North Dakota. And he has 8 points in 12 games. Decent for a defenseman because look at the size, 6'4", 212 pounds. And the name of the game for Keaton Vierhoff is his shot. Wowza, look at the laser on this clip. Yeah, he can put up some nice numbers in terms of shooting. So he's another one that I really like his game. And some, you know, draft rankings, they'll drop him down a little bit, but I still say he's firm at number 2 overall behind Gavin McKenna. And yeah, I think that I don't see him, you know, dropping. Right shot D, big, 6'4". Yeah, he's at number 2 to St. Louis. Number 3, Tynan Lawrence. Now, Tynan Lawrence has only played 2 games. 2 points in 2 games so far. Has this nagging foot injury, but, you know, in terms of a 200-foot player, Tynan Lawrence is that guy. And, you know, last year playing for Muskegon in the USHL, he was the top player in the playoffs. And we're looking for a lot of that, you know, the progression, I guess you could say, in his game this year. But unfortunately, nagging injury right now to his foot has kept him sidelined. So we'll just have to wait and see. But hopefully come January, he puts up some big numbers. All right, number 4 to Vancouver. We got Ivar Stenberg. And look at the points in the SHL, the top Swedish men's league. 20 points in 21 games. Oh, wowza. Listed at 6 foot, 181-pound winger. Yeah, he's another one. He's got a pro-style game already. And like I said, when you're playing against men and you're putting up amazing numbers like that in Sweden, one of the top, you know, men's league in the world, you're definitely going to have some eyes on you. And yeah, Ivar Stenberg, he's another one, like his game. Now, there are some things that he needs to work on, but in terms of offensive skill, yeah, he's definitely got it. And I think that he's going to be a top 3 pick probably come draft day, unless, you know, things fall off near the end of the season. But right now, he's number 4 to Vancouver in this mock. Number 5, Ethan Belchez. Look at the size, 6'5", 227 pounds. 28 points in 23 games playing for the Windsor Spitfires in the OHL. And he'll go to Boston. Wow, that would be a nice fit for the young forward out of Windsor. And yeah, he's another one, has all the tools of an NHL player. Like I said, the size, the skating, the hands, the shot. You know, he checks off all those boxes. And I think that, you know, come draft day, he might even climb up, might be a top 3 pick Yeah, it depends on what a team's looking for, but this is a player that definitely checks off all the boxes, like I said. So Ethan Belchez, he goes to Buffalo at number 5 in this mock. Number 6, we got Ryan Lynn, the defenseman out of the WHL for Vancouver. And look at the points as a defenseman, 28 points in 24 games. Now, the problem is his size, 5'11". And the NHL, they're kind of, a little bit standoffish, I guess you could say, when it comes to D that are under 6 feet. But in terms of his overall game, skating, hands, vision, all those things that can, run a PP, I guess you could say, at the NHL level. But the size might hold him back. So we're going to see, I see he might be one of those players that drops out of the top 10 due to his size. But in terms of skill set, yeah, he's a great defenseman. So Ryan Lynn, number 6 to Boston in this mock. Number 7, one of my favorite players is Xavier Villeneuve out of Blainville-Boisbriand. And he's another defenseman that's on the smaller size, 5'11", 157. But look at the points, 27 points in 23 games in the queue. And he goes to the Rangers in this mock draft. But yeah, this is a player in the style of like Lane Hudson, Cale Makar, that the edge work, the maneuverability on the ice, the vision, the offensive tools, skating. Yeah, I love Xavier Villeneuve, and personally, he's a top 10 pick for me. But again, the size, and he's a left shot D, so he might drop down come draft day, but he's number 7 on this mock draft. All right, number 8, Daxton Rudolph, a big D that plays for Prince Albert out in a dub, 6'2", 203 pounds, and putting up some decent numbers this year, 17 points in 21 games as a right shot defenseman. That's really nice. So he would go to Edmonton in this mock. And I like that placement for him, actually. And he's another player that, we were hoping for some offensive numbers this year, and he's coming through in a big way. However, what's his upside in terms of offense? But the defensive tools are pretty good. So he's number 8 on this mock draft. Now, number 9, Ryan Rubruck. He's a player that's kind of dropped a little bit in a lot of mocks and NHL draft rankings. 22 points in 22 games for the 6'4", 216-pound Niagara Ice Dogs forward. Yeah, you know what? He started off slow, and now he's starting to pick it up a little bit in his last few games, starting to show that offensive touch. And the thing with Ryan Rubruck is his shot. As you can see in this clip here, he has an amazing release. Now, consistency in his game. He has great games and then he has not so great games. So you want to see a little bit more consistency, but he's another player that might fall out of the top 10 if the consistency is not constant. All right, number 10. So the top 10 here, Chase Reed, another one of my favorite players in this draft, listed at 6'2", 187 pounds. And he has 28 points in 25 games, played for the Sioux Greyhounds in the OHL as a defenseman, right shot D. Yes, they are sought after. So he is going to be a player that might be even higher come draft day just because of his size and the offensive touch. Now, this is 2 years in a row that he's putting, a point per game or plus as a defenseman in the OHL. Those are really good numbers, and the skating is really decent. I had a chance to watch him a couple of weeks ago live, and yeah, he's the real deal. So he goes number 10 on our list. So here's your top 10 as of this mock draft. And so I wanted to go on, and I'm going to talk about the next few without any clips, but number 11, we got Mathis Preston, who has been not putting up the numbers that we're hoping for out in the dub there. Number 12, Carson Carrolls. This is a defenseman that probably could be a top 10 pick. He's 6'2", has 24 points in 23 games. Yeah, that is some nice numbers, and he's really decent defensively. Viggo Bjork, the offensive dynamo out of Sweden. He's 13 on the list. Number 14, a climber, big climber in these NHL draft rankings lately, and that's Albert Smits, who plays out in the Liga in Finland. And yeah, he's just a well-rounded, great skating defenseman, has 11 points in 23 games in the Liga. Adam Novotny, another player who kind of started off slow, but he came over from Europe and is playing in Peterborough in the OHL and starting to find his games. 26 points in 24 games. He's number 15 to Chicago on this list. Number 16, Elton Hermansson out of Sweden. And yeah, he's going to the Islanders at 16. Marcus Nordmark, another Swede, going 17 to LA. Caleb Malholtra, who is on one of the best CHL teams, the Brantford Bulldogs, and he has 29 points in 23 games. He's 18 to Minnesota on this list. Malte Gustafsson going to Montreal at number 19, the big Swedish defenseman. And at number 20, JP Hurlbert, playing for Kamloops in the WHL, a Michigan commit, goes to the Pens at number 20. Number 21, Juho Pipparainen from Finland. He goes 21 to Winnipeg. Oliver Savanto, another great Finnish player, going 22 to Detroit. Ottawa, they forfeit their 23rd overall pick right there. So we jump down to Philly at 24, Oscar Hemming. Another great player who might even contend for top 10 picks, but hasn't played any hockey this season just yet. So we're waiting to see where he lands. There's talk to the NCAA possibly. Yegor Shilov, the Russian, who is absolutely torching the Q with 31 points in 23 games. He's at 25 to Seattle. 26, the Jersey Devils. They take William Hackinson, the Swede, 6'4", 207-pound left shot defenseman. Yes, nice player right there. Beckham Edwards goes 27 to Calgary. 28, Nikita Klepov, another Russian having some success in North America, playing for Saginaw, goes 28 to the Rangers. Jack Hextall out of the USHL goes to Seattle at 29. And Lars Steiner, 30 to Anaheim. Now, to finish it off, the last two picks, Thomas Krenko from Slovakia goes 31 to Carolina, and the last pick in the draft, and that is Brooks Rogowski, the 6'6" monster out of Oshawa, goes to the Islanders at 32. So that is it for this mock draft ranking. And like I said, if you want to see some highlights of some of these prospects, head over to NHL Draft Pros on YouTube. And if you like the content, please hit that subscribe and like button. I'd really appreciate it. And we'll see you soon. Cheers.